It's an important topic. Give the group a sense of where you are.
Yeah, I'm very positively inclined to promoting a good relationship with President Trump. Soon after he was elected, I called him and was it the other way around? We both wanted to talk, and I think he called or whatever. So we chatted. We chatted, and
so he paid for the call. That's the important
thing. We chatted, and I congratulated him and reminded him that we are now joined at the hip, because America is the United States is the next president of the G20. So I said, Mr. President, I'm going to hand over to you. So we're now in a troika together, and I'd like you to come to South Africa for a state visit when you come to attend a G20 meeting. And he said, oh, that would be great. And we spoke about a number of South Africans that he knows who play golf, because he loves his golf. And he asked me whether I play.
Are you practicing?
I said yes. He said, well, you better practice. And we spoke about how to continue improving the relations on the trade side and all that. And it was a wonderful few minutes call then. But of course, it all seemed to go a little bit off the rails, because he was responding to an initiative that we put in place about addressing the original sin in South Africa, which is the issue of land. And he got the wrong end of the stick, because some people whispered to him that we're taking land from people and there's some genocide and all that, which is all not true. So he issued his executive acts, and we then decided that it's not best to have a knee-jerk reaction to all this. We wanted to let the dust settle, and I'm kind of like that. I prefer the dust to settle, and thereafter work out ways in which you can respond to what has happened. And clearly, South Africa and the United States, apart from the G20, we are joined at the hip. They are our second biggest trading partner. And we are participants in AGOA, and we export very important products to them. And so we also buy important products. So it's an interconnected world. We've got to deal with each other whether we like it or not, and we've got to look at other policy positions that we may differ on. And so it is my considered view that we've got to make a deal of one sort or another on trade issues, on diplomatic issues, on political issues, a whole span of issues. It is in South Africa's interest to promote a good relationship with all countries in the world, and also the United States, and more so that we're going to be working closely together on the G20 process.
Look, in some ways it's an opportunity. Maybe there's a scope for a bigger deal. He likes to do big deals, doesn't he?
Yes, we would like to go to the United States to do a deal. We don't want to go and explain ourselves. We want to go and do a meaningful deal with the United States on a whole range of issues. And the signals that we're getting are that we need to enable the development of that process to happen, and it's inevitable that we will get together and do a deal.
Yeah. We'll all be watching. Good luck. Let's talk about the G20.
Yes.
You're obviously going to be working in your leadership position of the G20 through much of the balance of this year.
Yeah.
What are your priorities? What are your objectives? What do you want to get the group to really focus on?
Well, we crafted a theme, our theme, and every country that leads the G20 for the year comes up with a theme what they believe they want the world to focus on. And we've said we believe that we need to heighten the issue of solidarity, because no country exists on its own. And we need to act in solidarity of one another. And we clearly saw that during COVID, where solidarity was needed, where certain countries had more vaccines and others didn't. And it was when we continued to make calls that let's support one another, that the process then started. So it's actualizing the notion and the concept of solidarity. And we do believe that the issue of equality is important. There's a lot of inequality in countries and between countries, and we would like the world to address the issue of inequality. And the other important issue is sustainability. And sustainability touches on issues of climate change, which we can no longer just wish away, and seeing how best we do things on a sustainable basis. So under the rubric of those three themes, we have then developed what we see as priorities. What are the real priorities? And the one issue that really stands out is financing for climate change. The financing, which has been discussed in Paris and a number of places, the COP conferences, has not really come to the fore. And we would like a serious conversation among the G20 countries to deal with climate financing. But as a byproduct of that, we do believe that there should be the other issue of financing damage that keeps recurring. Many countries, particularly in the global south or in Africa, keep having damage from climate change, from floods and fires and all that, and they keep happening year in and year out. So we would like that to be a conversation. And more importantly for us is also to discuss the issue of the debt. Many countries, not only in the global south, in Africa, are suffering under huge burdens of debt. Developing economy countries pay up to 8 times for their debt more than your more developed nations. And these are countries that need better assistance and support. When we were going through the COVID process, I was chairman of the African Union, and one of the issues we highlighted was the issues of debt. It was when the global financial institutions, particularly the IMF, was going to be issuing special drawing rights, enabling your big economies to have cheaper debt. And that was not made available to your more developing countries. And we argued that it should be, the amount was raised quite a bit. And so therefore debt in our book is important. And the last and the other priority that we want to address is how the minerals, the critical minerals, should be treated, and how the world should start interfacing with minerals. Do we continue being extractive economies for minerals, or do we now move to, say, the secondary level, from the primary, secondary, and eventually tertiary, where we beneficiate our minerals? And on this we speak on behalf of Africa, because Africa is the one place where the whole world is just clamoring to extract minerals. And we say,
you want to go up the value chain.
We want to go up the value chain. There's another process that we need to embark upon.
Could I just very quickly,